Hello and welcome back to more Miami University Varsity Valorant. My name is Trae Linkling Moss, and I'm here with.
Spencer Palpa McCrae.
And today we have the round one of the NACE Club Playoffs. Last time you saw us here casting was for Queen City Clash qualifier for the Valorant LAN. That's still ongoing, but today we are starting the NACE Club Playoffs, which is our main competition that our Valorant team has been doing this semester. We're up against Maryville University's Academy roster. I believe we are the third seed, and they are somewhere around the 14th or so out of almost 20 teams. So this should be a pretty dominant victory for Miami on paper. If we look at the ranks of Maryville's Academy roster, supposedly they're mostly around the gold range with someone around the diamond range. So, like we said, on paper, it should be pretty good for Miami. But as we've seen in the past, there's been crazy upsets against teams where you really shouldn't lose to.
And I'm really excited to see their team composition specifically. I know Maryville, again, having those sort of gold-esque players. Uh, Gold being notorious for having some very interesting team compositions. I would know. I'm currently hard stuck gold.
Yes, yes.
I'll be able to relate to Maryville a little bit more than our Miami Valorant varsity team. But I'm very interested to see the team picks that we're going to be able to witness here tonight. I know Miami University goes for a few more of traditional team picks. In particular, I want to shout out how we do differentiate a little bit, oftentimes having no sentinels in place of having either a second duelist or a second initiator, I believe. Um,
Yeah. And speaking of that team comp, we're starting on Bind, which is a map where Miami and a lot of teams like to run a Viper as the sort of sentinel role, just because of how impactful her walls can be on this map and how she can kind of just hang back and lurk around, especially on this attacker side, which we are starting with. And I'm interested to see how Miami goes forward with this map, with how we saw them last time against Kennesaw State. That map started out pretty poorly for them. I believe they went out of round half one, which was their defensive half, going 3-9. But they made an insane comeback, winning 8 rounds in a row to bring that to a tied game, eventually losing in overtime. But since we are starting on attack this time, we could see Miami really use that better half of that map to get early dominance and then hopefully hold on to it, and not do not like what happened to Kennesaw State happened to them here as well. But Bind is very attacker sided, so and on top of Miami being the higher seed in this tournament, I'm expecting this first half to go very very well for the team. But like we saw in the past, Bind has not been Miami's strongest map per se, so things could go pretty much either way. It really depends on how much experience Maryville has on it as well.
Yeah, and I'm sort of expecting another kind of comeback situation where attacker sided, even though Miami maybe theoretically could become very favored in the first half of the game. I don't imagine that Maryville, they would probably be able to have a pretty, I guess not a pretty easy time, but more likely to have that sort of comeback situation happen where you take that first round, you win the eco, you're put in such a good position where Bind allows you to make so many mix-ups as an attacker. Portals very specifically being, I want to say, very attacker favored, meaning you're able to take that sort of B long space on the map, teleport over to A whenever you want, or even mix it up with the teleporters. As Trae and I were discussing earlier, we may be seeing a Yoru pick coming out here. Yoru being a very dominant character on this map, allowing for instant rotations from large distances, both an amazing defense-sided trait and attack-sided.
Yeah, throwing those teleporters into each other can really mix up the enemy team. It's kind of the only map where he's viable on in like a professional sense, at least at the moment. I know there was a couple weeks back there was a lot of nerfs to different characters, Yoru being one of the affected characters. So that might change a little bit as the meta sort of shifted. Maybe he won't get played here at all. But if we were going to see him tonight, I would expect him on this map, and he's a pretty fun character to watch. So I'd love to see
Absolutely.
some Yoru as well. But I'm definitely expecting at least a Viper on the side of Miami, and I expect it on the side of Maryville too. Viper on Bind has been pretty much set in stone since the game's inception. It's usually been Viper Brimstone. Those Viper walls you can just throw. There's a pretty easy default wall through a teleporter on the defense side and going up towards U-Haul on the A site on attacker side. And then Brimstone can just use all three of his smokes to basically give you free access into a site or effectively entirely lock down the attacker's eyesight into the site as well. So it can just be it's a lot about controlling sight lines and those sort of angles on this map, while also keeping the pressure on the other team, especially on the attacker side. But we should be getting into this match here shortly. I believe we might go to a little bit of a break as there might be some technical difficulties going on. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we will be with you in just a moment for Map 1 Bind, Miami University versus Maryville. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to getting started with Map 1 here, Miami University versus Maryville University Academy. Starting on Bind, we're getting agent select started here. A lot of different agents being hovered. We already got Favorite Liar locking in that Viper, which is what he's been playing every single time we've seen Bind here on this roster. And compared to what we were saying before the game even started, we do actually see a Sentinel on the side of Maryville Academy. The sides on the screen are a little bit switched there at the moment. But I think Miami's locking in a pretty similar roster to what they usually play. It seems like they're going to just pull out that Brim Viper like they've seen in the past. But Maryville Academy might be doing a little bit of a more unorthodox composition compared to what Miami's been doing, which has been some of the more favored meta. But I think we might be going back to lobby here. Might be having even more issues for a second. It's our players leaving them at lobby.
Yeah, two Miami's players DC'd. Unfortunate. But I do want to point out, as we were seeing from Miami University's roster, Raze, a Sky, and a Breach as the two initiators and one duelist. It looks like they're really looking to explode in onto the map during this round. With Raze's ability to move around very quickly, Breach's ability to use his fault line to stun defenders in their place, and Sky's ability to just really follow up with fast attackers. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of rushes during this round, just all out, all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, the Viper is going to be really good at lurking around and getting some information on the side that Miami's not going to be currently hitting. And then they'll have the Brimstone likely go with the rest of the team and just completely shut down the defender sight lines, just so those other three explosive characters, like you're saying, can just get on the site, get the bomb down, and then they can start talking about a post-plant sort of plan there. Maryville's roster was a little less set in stone. I believe they just had the Cypher and maybe an Omen locked. I don't quite remember. Fade locked, yes. So yeah, Cypher on this map, like we said in the past, every time, I mean, I'm not too certain on the meta on this map currently, but every time I've seen this map in recent memory on this broadcast, we haven't really seen a Cypher played too often. So it might be something that's kind of coming out on the meta soon, or maybe they just like to play Cypher. It can be a bit of a comfort pick. We're going to be back into Agent Select soon, but I'm interested to see how that Cypher is going to work on this sort of map, because those trips can be extremely helpful for finding out certain information. But I do know those trips did just get nerfed recently. I believe they got rid of the stun. I'm not too sure about that. But we also see another Sentinel hovered of Chamber on the side of Maryville Academy. Chamber is kind of more of like a duelist Sentinel, just because of his how his sort of kit works. He doesn't have too much equipment to physically lock down a site, other than like maybe his own tripwire. But yeah, Miami just instantly locking in that composition we were talking about before, except we did see the Breach switch to a Gecko there.
And I'm very interested with the Breach versus Gecko play, specifically Breach, again, being a lot faster of a character, but Gecko going to have so much utility that you're just able to recycle. But jumping over to the Cypher, as you were talking about previously, Cypher is a very interesting choice on this map, having a very strong, or a pretty strong bind B side hold, going to be able to catch people jumping out of any of the hookah I apologize. Going to be able to catch people jumping out of hookah very easily. Also going to be able to hold those trip flanks. As we know, Miami University's favorite liar. Going to be a big fan of trying to flank whenever they can. Try and make those big plays. And just having someone being able to hold that's going to be important. But with the 2 lanes on bind, I imagine that's why we don't usually see Cypher more often than not. But Cypher has 2 trips whenever Maryville University Academy gets on attack, he will be able to hold it pretty effectively.
Yeah, we do see also another Sentinel locked in, but instead of the Chamber that was covered earlier, we do see the Vise. Vise was definitely one of the stronger Sentinels, at least before all of these new agent changes came out. I'm not too sure where she sets in the meta right now, but it seems like Maryville is really locking their comp in on being successful on this first defender half, trying to get as many rounds as they can, versus Miami, who has shown that in the past they've been really strong on that attacker half. So I think they're hoping to try to lower the difference at rounds as much as possible, maybe even gain the advantage, which would be huge for them in this round. And then, they can just pick up the couple rounds that they can on attack, and then they can just close out the map from there. But I'm interested to see how this defender-focused comp is going to work for Maryville University, because obviously in this half, theoretically, their composition should work pretty great, having all of that utility to lock down these sites, make sure Miami can't get in with those explosive characters. But as soon as we get to attack side, there's not too much utility that they can use to get into these sites. We do have the I believe the Omen and the Fade do have some abilities to get into the site there. But compared to something like a Gecko or a Sky, it's not going to be as useful in my opinion. But we do see Miami University going for what they've done a lot in the past, a B split push with favorite liar just kind of lurking on that A side of the map. It seems like Maryville University is pretty evenly split here. Let's see how they react to this push.
And I do want to bring up, we're going to see Vice on the A side, a Cypher on the B side, something that's kind of expected as each of them are particularly good on their respective sites that we're seeing currently. Doomty going to be on the Raze, and we're seeing Sky and Gecko pushing up B long, going to be trying to get out there with a little bit of utility, shooting Fade Orb, going to be getting the jump on Waylay. Waylay going to be able to get the kill. If you noticed, favorite liar actually going to get picked off on A site, I believe. No, I'm wrong about that. They got to pick on somebody else and then fell back.
We see favorite liar joining the rest of the team now, able to get a pick onto the Fade, and it's just the Vice sitting in the back of the site. They just have their flash down, but Miami immediately was able to break that. It's going to be hard for them to try to get anything done here. They're likely just looking for a pick or two to try to weaken Miami's economy, and then let the routes around go close out from there. Let's see if they can get one, and no, unfortunately, favorite liar gets his 3rd kill of the round with the Ghost. And Miami only loses 1 player there and gets the bomb planted, so that's going to be pretty good for the economy going into this round. Looks like they're going to just buy up as much as they can. Favorite liar might even go for full shield and a rifle after getting 3 kills, which is absolutely insane to have in the second round here. It can provide huge value, but Maryville is just going to have to save as much money as they can and try to win that 3rd round.
And I don't know if you've ever fought a match as a pistol against a rifle, but it's pretty difficult to try and get any damage on the opponent. Favorite liar again going to be choosing to go A side while the rest of the team splitting onto B. We're not going to see as much of a rush here as we have our initiators on the B long site, maybe trying to get a little bit of distance, trick them into thinking they're doing another rush. Favorite liar going to get another pick on A side, falling back, something we'd kind of expect, maybe going into showers. Going to be scaling our way up out of hookah into garden. Going to be able to get another pick on B site. Cypher hanging out in the back. Going to be able to hit one with trip. And he's going to get taken out by Miami University. Miami, again, has the site, full roster of players. 2 on Maryville University Academy. Hanging out just in spawn, maybe waiting for the smokes to go down. Miami hasn't really had to commit too much in terms of smokes at the moment. But again, this is an eco round for Maryville.
Yeah, it looks like they're staying put here. They might just be looking for exit frags. They're covering each other's cross a little bit here. They just have classics, so they're going to be much more successful in a close range fight compared to that Phantom, which if they peek out, is just going to immediately kill them. Doomty's going to be swinging around the corner. Let's see if he gets caught off guard here by this crouching Maryville player. No, has a little bit quicker reaction time. He's just going to swing on the last Maryville player, who was just going to just going to keep running away, maybe try to catch a Miami player off guard. Like I said, in this kind of situation, you just kind of want to kill someone if you can, but unfortunately walks back into that grenade, giving Miami a flawless victory with those rifles. But yeah, just based on economy alone, that was pretty much an expected win for Miami. They're gonna end up likely saving those rifles, not buying anything else, and Maryville Academy is going to have their turn to full buy on all those rifles.
And from what we're seeing here, this is likely going to be a very even match. Miami University going to buy up already a lot during that that second round. We're going to see, again, all rifles on the side of Maryville University Academy, and then 2 rifles, Bulldog, a Spectator, and a Stinger on the side of Miami. Instead, Favorite Liar not going to be going on A side, instead going full B side. Still going to have that wall up, trying to force defenders to respect Favorite Liar's potential to be there. This is a little bit of conditioning that we're seeing here, something that a lot of collegiate specifically is going to find when those, there's a high level of team play.
Yeah, we already see a Doomty get on the site, get 2 kills there with the 2 Maryville Academy players that were playing there. We see the Omen on Maryville Academy side is going to be going for a flank here. This could catch the Brimstone off guard on the side of Miami with a little bit of a timing here. Doomty, though, is going to be trying to kick down this Fade. Fade does take down Rysick, but Doomty there for the Trae with the 4K. Sith Lord is available, though, to see the Omen. A little bit unfortunate timing for the Omen there, and just gives Sith Lord a nice little Vandal right there. Good round win for Miami. They were able to take down that site pretty quickly, and like you were saying, with that Viper Wall being up, and after 2 rounds of sitting there, Maryville Academy has to know, okay, this is what the Viper likes to do. We have to expect like there's going to be a play here. So they're a little bit more nervous to go aggressive towards that angle because, what if Favorite Liar is just sitting there and waiting for them. And, eventually we did see Timeless move up onto the A short and try to get a flank down. Unfortunately, it didn't end up working. But, it did take them a while for them to realize, hey, there's no one actually here. They're just all going to be at the B side.
Right, and we're going to see Miami University kind of do this again. 4 players on B, 1 player on A split. We're going to see this Favorite Liar going to get taken out by Timeless. That's going to be a really big win for the side of Maryville University, just because they get a free rifle. This round specifically, they weren't able to buy anything aside from pistols, and so being able to, grab that rifle, going to be 3-3 right now for both players, with Maryville University going to get 2 picks total, 1 on A side, 1 defending B site. And we're just going to be seeing a little bit of slow play right here. Omen going to go through TP. Miami University going to hear it, kind of expecting him to be pushing through there. Going to meet up with Fade again. Fade going to push through Hookah with the both of them together. Doomty on their back, on the flank. Looks like he was trying to go for a knife for a second.
Oh, he's going to do it.
Oh, he's totally going to do it. Oh, he's totally going to go for it. Okay.
Oh, okay, no. He's going to be a little respectful, but that was a crazy timing. I think it was just a little unlucky that the Omen TP'd so early because I think he might have went around the long way and might have not even saw them there. But okay, we have the player cam in there, but the green screen is making a Doomty's hoodie there look a little bit crazy. But anyways, great round win from Miami. They're able to continue their economic snowball with all full buying rifles and armor. Maryville, after a save round, is able to full buy rifles here again, so this is their chance to kind of get another round back and slow this snowball from the side of Miami. Maryville, notably, does have their Fatal online and ready. We do see the Gecko ult, only 1 ultimate point away from Rysick on the side of Miami, so could just get a kill or orb and also have that in play as well. But this Fatal could really help them stop a push on the side of Miami here. But it seems like Miami's going to go for a full A push this time, the first time that they've done this on this map.
And I want to bring up how it looked like positioning-wise, Maryville was kind of predicting that Miami would be going B again, something that, would not be very surprising given the track record of what they've done so far. But going to be pushing onto the A site, going to take it very quickly again, investing 2 smokes so far. So Brim's only going to have 1 for the rest of the round. And we've already invested our Viper orb as well, Viper being down though, so only 1 smoke in the hands of Miami University. Vice gonna have to try and make this 3 versus 1 comeback. What does this look like to you here? Because I don't see a lot of opportunity for Vice to really get back in this round, especially considering how Brim has his actually Brim does not have his molly still.
Yeah, Brim already uses molly, but Miami's playing in the smart position. They're kind of Yeah, kind of sitting back waiting for the Vice to make any sort of noise because, the bomb was planted. Vice was the one that had to do anything. I don't know why Sleepyhead ended up tying the bomb there. Maybe a little bit of trolling, I don't know. But
Nah,
yeah.
Sleepyhead falling asleep at the wheel as per usual.
Yeah. Maybe he's just like, I forget the term where you just fall asleep all the time, but maybe the name is maybe the name holds some truth there. But anyways, yeah, the Vice is kind of in a tough situation, stuck behind triple with Odin, and Miami was just playing smart, just kind of not peeking early, not giving them the one to give them even a chance at coming back here. But we do see the Vice did have enough money to end up buying a rifle. The rest of the team on pistols, so we'll see if that hero rifle ends up making any sort of difference here. Seems like Maryville is going to be a little more prepared for Miami's full A push, and the Cypher on the side of Maryville is going to instantly start doing a flank. So Miami could get caught off guard here by that, but Doomty did end up getting killed early and traded by Sith Lord. Sleepyhead almost dying to the flanking Waylay there, left on 2 HP. Favorite Liar though is able to push right through, get the 2 kills while Maryville was distracted by Favorite Liar. By Sleepyhead on 2 HP, and we do see the Cypher on the flank, but I think Rysig might have a little bit of a clue. Never mind, doesn't have any sort of clue what's going on. Fornax getting the kill on the Rysig, but Sith Lord getting the easy trade there, bringing things to 6-0 lead for Miami. That 2K from Favorite Liar as they're trying to kill Sleepyhead was very unfortunate for Maryville Academy. I'm just not sure if the Vise was able to react to the wall going up fast enough. But we do see the timeout coming out from Maryville Academy. I think this is a great time for them to time out. They're down 6 rounds in a row, and they are finally on a round where they can full buy rifles and armor. So this is really their chance to win a round and start to bring their comeback sort of through. And Miami's already up 6 rounds, so they can't even come out of this half with the advantage. But we could see an insane comeback, winning 6 rounds in a row, bringing things to even. And I think that would, especially with this map being attacker side, that could help their case a lot. But they really need to go through their strategy on this timeout, and dissect what Miami's been doing, and try to come back with a new game plan. They finally have rifles. They have some ultimates online. Let's see them finally get their first round win here.
And I do want to bring up the economy for a second. We saw Maryville University buying sort of that half buy, having that one hero rifle, but everybody else on either Stingers or a Sheriff. Kind of a perfect in the middle kind of balance, a Goldilocks buy, so to speak. And you'll see them having enough money in this upcoming round where they're all able to buy rifles except for that Vice, which is kind of a nice balance because in the event that Vice isn't able to in the event that Vice is able to survive past one of their teammates dying, they'll just be able to pick up the rifle and continue the round as if all 5 of them had rifles. But we're going to be seeing a B-sided push. Defender's going to be trying to push up, find some of those sneaky angles. All 5 of Maryville going to be on the B site. Each of the players going to be fighting one another, pushing up, getting trade. Both teams 1-1. Hookah pushed out just a little bit. Maryville going to be able to take the space just past Hookah. Rysik going to be able to get another pick. That's going to be 3 versus 4. All of Maryville University going to be inside of or just beside Hookah at the moment. Cypher set up completely there. Miami University knows the entirety of Maryville is going to be on the B side. It looks like they're going to be rotating over.
Yeah, it seems like we might just going for a Hookah push here, but maybe they're just doing a little bit of split push back to A. All of Maryville University is not budging from the B side yet, though. They still have a inkling that maybe Miami might try to go for a re-hit, but Miami's just slowly going back towards the A side. That's still completely undefended. We do see the Cypher, though, on the side of Maryville start to slowly walk back, but, one person going against 4, he's likely just going to have to hear that they're going to be there and try to fall back until the rest of his team is going to be there. But we do see that they have the Waylay and Cypher all on their side, so that could help them out on this retake just a little bit. As I expect Miami's going to be able to get this bomb down with the man advantage here. Cypher peeking out, might try to get an easy pick onto Sleepyhead. He's not going to be able to see anything because of that Viper ult that just ended up blowing online. Sleepyhead is deciding to get a flash out from the Viper ult and get that kill anyway. 2v4 for Maryville University, both on opposite sides of the map. Have to play through this Viper ultimate. It's going to be extremely hard for them to kind of get anything done here, unfortunately.
So we're going to be seeing here Waylay getting followed up by the flank from Adumti. Adumti being very consistent in getting those timings against Maryville University. It's a very difficult position to be in, knowing that you have an opponent that's always going to be on your backside, whether it be Favorite Liar or Adumti. Going to be pushing up all together using util. Going to take out Maryville University Academy's very last player on this round. And Miami University, even after the timeout, going to be up 7-0. I can't even imagine what Maryville is thinking right now. It's such a difficult position to be in, given the fact that no matter what, you are going to be down after this half. You can win the next 5 rounds, but you're not going to be able to be positive.
Yeah, like you said, Maryville's guaranteed to be in the disadvantage going to the second half here, which is definitely going to be tough for them. Especially after using one of their 2 timeouts on this half, and just not being able to pull out a win after that. They did make an accurate prediction by all going to the B side of the map, but they still weren't able to really get too much done as Miami were able to get 2 kills. Maryville was only able to get 1 trade, and then Miami was really able to use their momentum just to go back towards the A site. But as we said here, they're going to go full push to A site and instantly win just 4 1s in a row, and maybe even just win this other one here and just get a really quick round win, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Miami's going to be up 8-0, flawless victory, just able to really push into Maryville fast, and Maryville not really being able to support each other too well on those 1v1 aim duels, as Miami just instantly running right in and taking all of them down. And Doomty's already up to 12 kills and only 3 deaths here with just 8 rounds in.
And I do want to bring up, as we initially talked about, Miami leaning more into that aggressive composition, going to be trying to take those, going to be able to try and take the sites very quickly, try and secure a lot of those kills early on in the round such that they have that player advantage and going to be able to force Maryville University in a disadvantageous position, given that Maryville going to have all of their ults online. Omen teleporting immediately away, trying to get on that flank, see if they're able to make a play happen. Miami University already invested every single one of their smokes, not going to be able to use any smokes other than the Viper wall and orb. Sleepyhead going to try and give a little bit of health. BTWB on Maryville's side is going to be able to find one of those picks. Miami Sky going to be able to acknowledge the fact that Omen's on flank. Omen going to be able to get that kill against the Sky. This is a Brim versus Omen situation, 1v1. Bombs already planted down. Ult coming out from Sith Lord. What are they going to be able to do? Playing ring around a Rosie around these boxes, but Timeless just going to be able to find the kill, and that's going to be Maryville University's first win on the board.
Great stuff from Maryville. They really needed a round win, and they got exactly that. Things are looking so good for Miami at first, and then slowly the Miami University roster started to crumble. And at the end, Timeless used that flank to their advantage pretty well, was able to get a couple picks, and then at the end there was able to confuse Sith Lord, not really sure where Omen was, and just ended up picking the wrong side of the box that they were going to peek on, and just ended up going down for it. So pretty good play from Maryville University. Obviously, Miami's not hurting too much, can still full buy, still has an Ultima online, still has the advantage, but obviously Maryville just needs a win to get their economy snowball going and to start winning some rounds to hopefully end this half for them, end this half, 4-8, and then look at winning the next pistol round. But for Miami, I think they're still pretty much chilling here for a second, especially with that early first kill onto Waylay and Hookah there, and Doomy's just going to instantly just double satchel out of the roof, get covered by a Sleepyhead after getting stuck by that tripwire, and it looks like Miami's just looking to plant the bomb here, and Maryville's going to have to rotate over and try to retake this site.
It's such a difficult position, again, for Maryville to be in. They have 2 ults online, specifically the Waylay and the Fatal, going to be amazing for trying to retake any of this site. Sith Lord going to be out of smokes, going to be able to find the spray through the smoke, going to get a free pick from that, kind of jumping around. A Doomty going to be able to get the pistol kill on the enemy Vice. A Doomty going to push in again, take out the Fade. Miami University secures round 10, 9 versus 1. It's going to be very scary going into this these last few rounds. You only have 2 more on the board. Do you save or do you try and force during this round?
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure what I would do here, to be honest. There's an argument for saving and trying to make sure you really win that last round here, but there's also an argument where you're down so much, you just gotta win the round so you can, and just keep force buying and try to get whatever you can done. But it seems like Maryville's going to go for mostly a save here. We do see Timeless on that Judge. It's going to be instantly pushing into that smoke. Could get a quick kill there, but no, that Gecko is going to spot him out in favor of Elijah, just going to shoot him through the smoke before peeking through. The Visor's going to be sitting in that corner, getting shot out, as well as Sith Lord taking down the Fade from a pretty large distance. It's going to be just 2 Maryville players left pushing together. Doomty's going to peek into both of them, but unfortunately, they give a Doomty 2 1s in a row, and Doomty's just able to take him down with that Phantom against 2 classics. That is unfortunate. Another really fast round win for Miami, bringing things to 10-1. Miami's just 1 round away, having a nearly flawless first half. And we do see my Maryville Academy post poking some fun in the text chat there. But yeah, I really hope, for Maryville that they can sort of adjust their strategy to try to win this last round here and maybe give them a little more hope going to this next half. as we do say, Vine is attacker sided, so maybe they can just start snowballing some rounds on that side. But Miami just looking to go for a full push towards the B, and we only have that lonely Fornax on Cypher on the site. Is likely going to get cut out early, and the rest of Maryville's got to rotate back over.
It's going to be a very scary position for the Cypher, again, getting picked off very early in the beginning of other rounds, trying to keep his position hidden. Not going to try and get the advantage that his... Oh my goodness, that was loud. Trying not to shoot out of the smoke, let his position be known, but still going to get cleared anyway. Not going to be able to find any. Miami University taking B site without any deaths on the board so far. Going to be able to find 2 kills, 1 through the smoke. Both players being known to be there. Sleepyhead going to be able to finish out the round.
So we had some clean aiming there. They just snapped to the head and got the one random kill through the smoke too. I don't know if that was him yelling in the other room. I heard some yelling in the other room. Maybe it was because of that. But we are going to be switching halves here, going Miami up 11-1. But back on the defensive side, Maryville has their first chance on the attacker side. Maybe with winning this pistol round, they can finally get something going here. We're going to see the player. No, why the scoreboard just threw out of the sweatshirt? Why are you wearing green? I guess you didn't know, but like.
I think that's blue. I believe it's a blue screen.
It's blue. Why is he talking about in it? Okay, anyway.
I do want to bring up, just before we get into this next half, we've been seeing consistently Maryville, their kryptonite, so to speak, of these rounds have been not properly using utility to clear out these early quick pushes. Miami University got a lot of mileage just being able to take those early fights, clear out common spots that you'd expect to see people wanting to get those kills in, and then just going to be able to snowball the round from there, getting 1 kill and then getting the next defender on the site. But we're going to see a little bit more of passive play coming out from Maryville University, slowly making their way up B long. No rotating from Miami University A-side defenders. Abdoomty going to try and see if they can get a flank. Already heard two players from Teleporter. Cypher going to be able to see the third. They know people are coming out trying to pinch the backside of their push. Nobody trying to make their way out yet. No smokes up, no nothing. Waylay, Cypher, I apologize, Vice and Fade, all kind of just trying to hang out, see if they can find anyone, get an extra pick.
I think Miami might need to chill out a little bit here. They're already down man advantage on pistol round, which is not a very good thing to see. Maryville is in a very good spot to just all TP through the teleporter. That might be what they're thinking about, because they're all sitting right there. Cypher's just kind of sitting back waiting for a flank to happen. I'm not too sure what Maryville's waiting on. They're slowly running out of time. I think they're going to re-hit B. Hopefully Miami goes back towards A. No, they're showing the TP. I guess Miami making the right decision by going to A immediately here. So they're going to get caught. They're going to end up facing Miami pretty early here on this plant, maybe earlier than they were expecting. The Waylay's going to push up into the spawn. We're going to see the Fade start to plant that spike down, and Miami's going to have to get back on the site and defuse it there. Rysick, though, not clearing his corners and getting caught up by the Waylay there. Miami's already down to a 2-4 deficit there, but Duke able to get a kill onto the Fade. Sithor getting another kill onto the very low Vice. It's going to be back to a 2v2. Miami's not too sure about where those two players are, though, and they definitely know where Miami is. So this could definitely go either way.
Waylay on the flank, not committing to it in heaven, but trying to commit to it. Coming from CT side, Abdoomty going to get a nice headshot, trying to use his nade to clear out, get a little bit of time to plant, creating the situation where he's forced to peek out, predicting the half. Going to be able to try and get that second half. Foreign's going to be able to swing out, get that nice clean shot. It looks like it was very practiced, I want to bring up. Something he was kind of expecting, knowing that dice sort of plant location, putting his crosshair where he needed it and getting the kill.
Yeah, that was a very good play from Fornax there. And Doom saying nice shot in the chat. Just able to swing out, instantly get the headshot, and made it look very easy, like it was nothing, like there was no stress at all, even though I'm sure behind that screen was pretty nervous there. I would be, at least. But anyways, Miami was already put into a pretty bad situation, losing, Miami maybe getting a little bit cocky onto the B garden side and losing some early aim duels. But it seems like Miami's just going to go, actually, we're going to go full rush, which worked last half, and it's just going to completely run them down on the A short side. Able to get 2 kills, one of Miami dying, though, but, the rest of Miami just flying on the other side, just complete decimation there, bringing things to 12-2 on the side of Miami. And, like we've seen in the past, Miami can just really thrive when they can show their aggression and when they aren't met with much pushback. And, Maryville was playing pretty slow there, so it's allowed Miami to just completely crash around with Maryville, and they couldn't really do anything.
Dude, what a scary position to be in. I was going to bring up earlier how good of a position this is to get that first win on attack half, and then just immediately Miami University strikes back, taking out the entire team, and I want to say less than 30 seconds. and then just immediately winning the round with a full rush. Kind of wondering maybe Miami University is going to lean a bit more into that this round. We're going to see Favorite Liar and Sleepyhead scaling up belong a little bit, not quite. Going to be met with a little bit of aggression if they choose to make it up all the way. Vice and Omen kind of preparing to have a bit of a crossfire, see if they can do anything. Omen choosing to smoke A side, kind of giving away that more of their players may be on the B site. Miami University going to get a pick, going to be 2 to 3 for Maryville University. Kind of a scary position to be in. Both players, every player playing a little bit slower. Favorite Liar getting the pick on Timeless. Going to bring up Miami University 3-1 to MUA.
And Miami's on map point here is just the waylay on Maryville Academy that is stopping Miami from getting a 1-0 lead in this series. The waylay is going to go for a little bit of a short flank onto Hookah, is going to try to see if they can get anyone from Miami, but Sith Lord has a suspicion, tells the rest of the team, and it looks like they'll be right there, ready and waiting. Favorite Liar with that Guardian lines up the headshot and closes things out. 13-2 for Miami. A pretty dominant showcase onto this bind map. But to be fair, I believe it was our map pick, so I'm not too surprised that we did so well here. And we'll see what the scoreboard looks like here. The final scoreboard, maybe. We're just gonna go back to us. It's fine. But I do remember Doomty doing extremely well there. I think almost getting 30 kills there with only maybe 4 or 5 deaths. I don't know if we can go back to that scoreboard eventually. But either way, great stuff from Miami University. We did see Maryville going back. Oh, there we can see it now. 23-5. 23-5 on a Doomty side. The next player being 15-5 from Favorite Liar, but that average combat score so high from a Doomty. Just great performance there from our IGL captain, a Doomty there on the duelist. But we did see Maryville Academy, towards the later half in terms of time at least of that map, was starting to do a little bit better. Got their first 2 round wins and was playing a little bit more of a fight for Miami. But Miami was still at such a huge lead that Maryville really couldn't make too many more mistakes until eventually Miami won that map. But how do you think that sort of went for Miami?
I think that was very good for Miami. Obviously, they got a lot of what they wanted. Again, Miami being a very rush down kind of comp, trying to get a lot of those early kills, clear out corners super quickly, get that first pick on the defender, snowball that into just taking a quick sight. I also do want to point out Maryville choosing to play a lot slower of a game. Having those 2 sentinels really forces you to play in a position where you're trying to read the opponent, make sure you know that they have nobody on the flank just by nature of having 2 sentinels. And I don't think they really got what they wanted from having those 2 players. Not a lot of flanks from Miami University getting caught. Instead, they're kind of caught with their pants down, just out in the open, getting a few of those kills. And then Miami University, again, still going to be able to make those massive plays, rushing down. And then, just being put in a position where you can rush down so quickly and get those early wins, it really makes Maryville scared. And so their slow-paced gameplay is not going to become as effective because they're always going to be worried about what is Miami going to do next. They could approach at any moment. They have to respect anything that they try and do.
Yeah, and some teams might not be as practiced against a team that likes to be so aggressive like Miami has been, and Miami has shown even on defense they can like to get aggressive, depending on how comfortable they are on a certain map. Speaking of a certain map, next map we're going to be Haven. We're starting on the defensive side. This is Maryville's pick. I don't think us on the Miami side necessarily wanted to play this map, but we'll see how this sort of map goes. Maryville clearly feeling a little bit more confidence on this one. We're starting on defense, which compared to last time we're starting on attack. Obviously defense, you're less likely to be as aggressive, especially on a map like Haven. I think rewards, playing a little bit more back, trying to see what the enemy is going to do. It's not like Lotus where you can kind of just run it down on one site and then try to get some picks in their own spawn. So Miami's going to really have to hone in on their defense here and try to make that work against Maryville. And we'll see what Maryville has in store for this attacker half, as they're clearly a little more practiced on it. But I think we're going to go for a short break as players get ready for map 2. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Miami versus Maryville Academy map 2. We're going to be on Haven up next. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to NACE Club Playoffs Round 1, Map 2 versus Miami University versus Maryville Academy. We're going to be starting on, this map is going to be Haven, rather, and we're just getting the Agent Select locked in. We see Fornax back on that Cypher from the last map, might just be a familiar pick. We also see Timeless and the person with the characters I cannot understand hovering the Waylay as well, so I'm doing a bit of a comfort here, but we are going to see the new agent, Vito, locked in by Favorite Liar. A very scary agent from what I've seen. Not too sure how good this new agent is necessarily, but his whole kit's about shutting down utility, making sure that, kind of like a trophy system in Call of Duty, if you've played that, he can kind of throw out and destroy all sort of thrown utility, and his ultimate makes him invincible to basically everything but a gunshot. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see him on this map, as this is going to be like my first time seeing him played in an actual game as well. So that's going to be interesting to see. What do you think about that pick?
I think it's very interesting. I think Miami University is trying to get a little bit experimental with it, knowing that they might be able to push the bar, maybe play with a few more of the unfamiliar picks to see how they work out, see if they play better on it. And I do want to point out, Waylay's name is actually Shikul-o, Korean spelling. I don't know what that means, but interesting Waylay pick here.
Yeah, it's impressive that you can read that. I don't know you had that skill. Good job.
Thank you.
Can we get some W Palpas in the chat for that? Anyways, we're gonna see. We were talking a little bit before how Breach is pretty popular on Haven, just especially on the ACE site, because utility can be very good. So we just see Rysik locking that in on the side of Miami, but the rest of Maryville Academy is gonna be pretty much the similar roster as to the last map, which makes me a little more inclined to believe, maybe they're playing a little more of their comfort picks, or just like kind of a comp that they're used to, rather than, maybe adapting a bit more map to map like Miami University might be doing, which of course, playing your comfort character can also just, allow you to have a better individual performance. So it can kind of go either way here, but I know Miami University is at least prompting to go for a little bit more, playing the comp that works better on this map. But like I said, I don't know if Vito is like good on this map or good in general, or if it's a troll pick. I don't really know what's going on with that character, but I just know he looks pretty cool.
I know personally from my interpretation, Vito kind of shuts down those explosive, aggressive plays from my experience on Haven, that you kind of have to be explosive as an attacker. C site forcing you to go up a long column, long amount of space, and you're pretty exposed during the entire time you try and make your way up. Same thing on A site and B site. You just are forced to make those explosive plays with a lot of utility, and Vito's just going to be able to hide his orb in the back corner right beside entrance, activate it, and you just can't do any of those utility plays anymore. We're seeing that the denial is activated, trying to force out, see maybe what kind of plays that the enemy team is going to try and make. It doesn't look like everyone's very coordinated right now, kind of putting Sova in a bad position, going to be able to swing out, get a pick on the Sith Lord. Doomty kind of knowing, hey, somebody's here, I'm going to have to watch out, play very safe. Maybe Sova's going to try and make that swing again, and he does. Doomty going to be able to put him down. Miami University going to be up 4-3 here. Doomty going to rotate a little bit more B side, expecting players being down. Sleepyhead going to be able to get a pick. Knows the spike's on A now. Miami University rotating all of their B side players onto A, trying to take this space where the spike is. And unfortunately enough, from Maryville University, going to have the spike all on its own. No player's going to be able to support it. Miami University kind of making their way up slowly, probably going to using a little bit of util to clear it, seeing that, hey, nobody's here. We are in charge of the spike. Now we're playing a very defensive game where we know the enemy team is going to have to try and attack the exact point where we have defenders. We know exactly where they need to be and when. We're going to see a little bit of Omen getting picked off by the Doomty. Great 4K coming out from the Yoru.
Yeah, Doomty getting a 4K to start off. Probably feels pretty good for him, barely not getting the ace, but, it's all right. He gets enough kills for himself. He can deal with it. But, yeah, we did see pretty great first round for Miami. We did see Maryville University actually got the first blood there, but Miami was able to get a couple good clean kills in a row there. I'm a little bit confused about Pornax just kind of full running onto the A site, not expecting anyone to be there. There might have been a miscommunication because, the rest of Maryville Academy was still kind of spread around the map. I would have liked to see them play together there in that moment, but it seems like Miami is going to do the standard second round. If you win, just kind of buy up as much as you can, and then Maryville Academy is just kind of save their guns, try to get some close range kills, pick up Miami's guns, and just get prepared for a full buy on this next round. So I think Miami's going to get aggressive early onto the C site. Adoomty getting one kill over there on that side. Sleepyhead getting aggressive here on the A side of the map. Isn't going to get taken down by Waylay, though, unfortunately. The rest of Miami's going to be collapsing in on the rest of Maryville Academy. And, yeah, and just instantly winning the round after getting some couple strong kills there, just anywhere across the map. And like we were saying a little bit earlier, Haven might not be as aggressive, even though it's a 3-side map compared to another 3-side map like Lotus. But clearly here they were showing that Miami can still use their aggressive playstyle on this map to just kind of collapse in on Maryville, which on their attacker side so far has been traditionally pretty slow, not going too fast, not being too committal early, which Miami can really take that to their advantage.
Yeah, and I also wanted to bring that up as well. Miami University making me eat my words, playing super aggressive on this buy round versus Maryville University going to have to save a little bit of money. Maryville again playing very slow, knowing that if they try and commit up this C long, they're gonna have to use a lot of utility. And with Vito there getting picked off, actually. They won't be able to use as much util. Going to still be able to do a lot. Adoomty going to be able to get that pick on the Maryville University player on site. 2 on the board right now. Miami University going to be up 4 versus 3. Trying to do this retake now. 4 versus 2. Waylay going to be able to catch the breach. Not going to be able to get anything from it. Miami University going to be able to close out the round.
Yeah, it's another great win for Miami University. Maryville was able to get the site early, get that bomb down after taking down Vito early, but Miami was able to use all of their utility and that Your ult that Adoomty got after getting so many early kills just to retake that site and close it down. And, spectating Adoomty there at the end was almost a scene out of the trailer. You saw him shoot him with the rifle and then switch out to the pistol and almost got the other kill. That was kind of funny, but Adoomty already 9 kills, 0 deaths, absolute dominant performance here on this map. And we're going to see Yoru on this map of Haven, which when we were talking in the past, we'd traditionally see him on bind. So I'm not sure if this is too unconventional, but it seems to be working very well for Adoomty here, as clearly he's getting a lot of kills here as well. But, Maryville Academy, after losing that last round, is going to have to go back to their pistols here. And Sleepyhead just spamming through with the Odin is just going to instantly take down the Waylay. So it's already going to be Maryville down a player, unfortunately. And the rest of Miami is going to get a little bit of aggressive on all sides of the map. With a little bit of pressure from Adoomty on the garage side, and Miami providing some pressure onto A long.
And we're going to be able to see here, Adoomty's particularly going to be able to get really aggressive because of that those TP plays. Typically, you'd usually see him on about 6 or 7 kills during this third round. No, he's gotten 9 so far. Is this his 10th? This is his 10th. Favorite Lar going to be taken down by the enemy Sova. Gonna see what they're gonna be able to do. Sith Lord pushing out, trying to get that trade on Miami University Sova. Bomb in sight. Sith Lord seeing the bomb. Gonna be able to take out Maryville's Tracer. Easy peasy.
I wish we could see Adam's POV there. I'm not sure what happened. Do you help me? Wait, is a? Yeah, I think maybe the chamber like timed out or something because he was just standing and spawned that entire round and he's still not buying anything.
Right, he has a pistol out right now.
Yeah, there might be a tech pause here shortly, but I'm not really sure what's going on their team. But Miami's gonna still have more than enough money to full buy their rifles and shields. We're also gonna see Sleepyhead have that Sova ult ready for a post plant scenario or like a retake scenario can be used to clear out other areas. That's useful for them. We do see Maryville Academy though gonna have 3 ultimates only 1 point away. That's Sova, Waylay, and Omen ult can be pretty useful as well. Yeah, we see the chamber. The chamber is back now with the rifle and shield, so all good there. But it seems like Maryville Academy is going to go back for a C/B push here. And while Miami is getting ready for more presence on A, so let's see how Miami sort of reacts to only having 2 players on the side of the map that Maryville is going to decide to push.
And we're seeing a very interesting split right here. Maryville, instead adapting to try and push down the middle, typically Abdoomty going to try and push out through that seaside middle garage sort of site, see what kind of plays he can get from there. And just trying to play out the middle, if you take that space, he's not going to be able to push out as much, which takes out Miami University's aggressive plays that they can make. We see the Sova watching the clone Abdoomty trying to push out with a flash, going to get punished by the Sova. Sith Lord playing in a weird off angle right here, going to punish anybody that even walks near the smoke. This aggressive smoke traditionally going to be able to split off that B site, such that any attackers would be able to create that 50-50 with the defenders. But Omen being up there kind of defeats the entire purpose, given that they can see over the smoke. This smoke going to be a little bit better, not going to be able to give them as much space in the event that they do choose to commit on B. Omen going to push through that smoke. All right, Miami University Sith Lord going to be able to punish that nice and quickly, being prepared for whatever plays they're trying to make. Gotta wonder, what are you trying to do? What do you want to try and do here? It's 4-4. There's a very even position. Very low on time given the minute 30 we had at the start of the round, but we're going to be slowly making our way onto A site. Miami University not going to have any defenders there. Slowly trying to push up, see how many other opponents are there. Only having 12 seconds left. I apologize. Taking full site. No utility needed to take it. Miami University kind of playing entirely off-site, being forced to do a retake here. Whiteley kind of in an off-angle position. Not going to be able to known by Rysik. Rysik not going to get punished yet, holding their aim.
With the timing. Oh my god.
That's going to be a 3K coming out from the Waylay. Going to be able to get favorite liar. 4K.
Oh my.
Crazy position to be in.
Okay. What? I thought we were a varsity roster, guys. Like one of the three of you can turn around. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe that's a little too far, but I'm just saying. Like I don't know. That was three people who didn't turn around and check that corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check your corners.
Check your corners. That's a lesson there for you guys. You know that Waylay was just sitting in the corner, able to get 3 kills and completely change the tides of that round. So and Miami had to spend an ult there, and they didn't even end up winning the round. So that's really good stuff from Maryville. Great stuff from that Waylay taking advantage of that corner space. And they're able to get around on the board earlier than the last time, which is great for them, and they're able to still buy rifles in this next round. So very great round for Maryville there. You know, a round loss that Miami probably wasn't really expecting in that time there. Favorite Liar's going to get spotted by that drone. He's going to be a little bit stuck there, but has that TP, just going to TP the other side. The double TP chain is pretty sick. Able to get fully off of that site, and Maryville's just going to use that Waylay ult to get on the site. I'm not going to hit anyone because, you know, all Miami just decided to back out, and Miami's just going to give Maryville this fight pretty much for free, and is going to try to play some retakes there. But as I say that, as soon as they get the bomb down, Miami just instantly gets back onto the site to take down the rest of Maryville Academy pretty fast there before I can even finish my sentence. And quickly takes that round back after somewhat embarrassing last round loss. It's just going to say, we're still in this game. Don't worry, that was just a fluke.
And I do want to bring up, I know it isn't as effective during this game, but Maryville University doing an amazing job of using utility to clear out site. As opposed to that first round on Bind, we saw where there were occasionally points in time where they didn't use the utility properly in order to clear out points, you know, kind of get Miami University was able to get a few of those sneaky kills. They're using a lot of utility in order to break on site, sort of explosive as we brought up before, and they're doing a great job of it this round. Maryville University going to be playing a little bit more on the A side this round, maybe having a little bit of a lurking Cypher, trying to see if they're able to find anything on C side, pulling out their cam. Cam going to get shot. Favorite Liar going to be able to hear it just barely. Honestly, I wasn't even able to hear it. Were you?
I wasn't really able to hear it either, to be honest, but maybe they're better with a little bit more headphones. And it seems like Sleepyhead is going to do the exact same thing that Maryville did to them on that round. And again, just 3 people need to clear their corners. He does end up dying this time for it, though. But, you know, Miami able to bring things back pretty smoothly to having the main advantage, 3-2 now. And Maryville Academy is just going to be left with 2 players back in the A site, and they're figure out, well, what do we do now? And we do see Sith Lord on the flank for Maryville Academy, so they're kind of on a ticking time bomb here. They have Miami players on both sides of them. They have to decide what to do. Do they want to fight behind or do they want to fight ahead? And it seems like they're just going to try to push ahead onto this A site, right into the crosshair of Rysik. Let's see how this goes here. Able to take down 1, is able to take down 2. No, 4x with the easy trade. Picking back up the bomb, and is going to have 1 Miami player on either side, and Favorite Liar is just going to peek out after that utility was used and get the quick kill there. Miami up 6-1. You know, great play from Sleepyhead there, giving a taste of their mess. Okay, I guess hello, chat. We're here now, but and we do see a Doomty going for the operator buy there. A bit of a cocky buy here, but obviously it's a pretty good play on defense. But obviously if you end up even if you end up missing one shot with the operator, it can just spell the end of your life there. But yeah, that was a crazy play. Just to sit there, excuse me, Sleepyhead giving Maryville Academy just a taste of their medicine. That was pretty amusing.
I think it's very interesting coming into this round. Both of the teams, I don't want to say struggling so much as sort of letting their corners go unchecked. Maryville University kind of in a worse position in that regard just because they choose to play the game a little bit slower. They choose, not to play as aggressive as Miami University is known for. And I actually want to point out Chamber winning the op duel really quickly, going to be able to get that early C site pick, but still Maryville University trying to play it slow, hearing the veto utility signature being used, knowing that he is on site at the very least, being able to hear what is going on, but they're still making their way up slowly. But to continue, as I was saying before, because they play so slow, Miami University is able to get a lot more corners that they usually wouldn't be able to, be expected in. For example, that early A site corner, where usually you would never be able to make that without any sort of teleport or neon dash. But because Miami University was given so much time, they were able to just make their way up without any utility and then get the surprise kill on them. We're going to be able to see Maryville going through a little bit of a split right now, having 3 players mid and then 2 on C long. Miami University opting into not playing any of their players C right now. Vito kind of, icing it out, seeing what's going on here, hearing that the Omen ult was canceled, kind of getting an idea, hey, maybe they're trying to push C, maybe they're trying to play a bit more C side. But we see the Sova utility come out, the Cypher utility come out. We're seeing Sleepyhead on site, going to be able to make a huge play here. Going to get the 2K, not seeing anybody else. Maryville's so far behind, they're not going to be able to defend the bomb in the event that it does get defused. And Miami University is just going to be able to stick and clear out the round. What a scary position to be in, because you had so much distance. You were able to get the player advantage. You were able to sort of get on a site with that 5 versus 4 situation. And then you didn't scan the Sova, who was just ratting under tower. And you get 2 of your players taken out with a planted bomb, where you can't do anything about that anymore on such low time.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused about that play there. I think it's just another case of what happened earlier, where they just expected no one on the A site, so they're just going to plant down. But I would expect at least the rest of Maryville Academy to rotate back towards A a little bit sooner. Maybe that wasn't communicated that well, because they're pretty spread out still on both the C and B site. Which it might have worked out better if Sleepyhead wasn't there on the A site, but unfortunately he was. Rising able to get an early kill onto Sova onto the A site. We're going to see that Spike was on the A site, which makes them likely to believe that the rest of Maryville Academy is there as well. Timeless, though, getting the trade onto Rising a little bit later is going to allow Maryville Academy to potentially push up a little bit. But we see a Doomty with that Euro ult. It's just going to spot them all out in the back there, so they for sure know that they're all right there. A Doomty going to be in a close range op fight. Unfortunately, Fornax, though, right there with that headshot, able to take that down. Fornax did pick up the operator, but still weren't able to get the trade out and get back out. Timeless in this corner is to be going to check his corner this time.
Oh, trying to check his corner, going to be able to
check it with a drone.
Going to push up, not going to be able to find Sleepyhead. Sleepyhead going to be able to get that kill. Miami University up 3-2. Sleepyhead just kind of playing in a slower position here. Both teams kind of feeling each other out. We got Vito back on C site, we got Omen on B site, and we got Sova on A site. 1 player for each site. How is Maryville University going to try and take this? In the position that they do choose to take a site together, they're going to have a 2v1 no matter where they choose to go. Miami University in the past traditionally playing a lot more B-sided together, just because they know, hey, we're going to be able to rotate really quickly no matter what site they choose to take, and our retakes have been extremely strong. So that we're going to be able to get the pick on Waylay. Bomb being dropped inside of Garage, trying to see where the other player is, hearing the footsteps. Favorite Life just going to be able to take them out nice and quickly. And what an interesting round to be in. We kind of see that your ult being used up, trying to push in. See that, Maryland University is going to try and play that back half of the site. Again, really slow, knowing where they were. Allowed them to be allowed Miami to be super aggressive. And Maryville was able to punish them, but going to be put down a few players, trying to see, hey, maybe I'm going to be able to get a little bit of advantage, feel out where the players are, use my two-player advantage, not to try and get the 2v1, but rather to get a lot more information across the map. But to no avail, we're going to have our Omen, I believe it was, get the picks and then close out the round. We kind of see the enemy, we see the Maryland Waylay trying to play a little bit of that corner right there, knowing, you know, Miami, both teams, honestly, have been checking their corners a little bit less. Doomty going to be able to catch the Cypher trying to cross, see if they can get a little bit of info C-site, but was denied. Favorite Liar trying to push out a little bit, gonna run into this Waylay, gonna get that pick on the Sova. Waylay pushing out, not quite gonna be able to make it with the pistol. Favorite Liar gonna be able to get their second pick of the match, taken out by Timeless with a long-range Spectre, I might add, and then taken out by a Doomty with the op.
And yeah, Miami bring this to a 9-1 victory, to 9-1 lead here, excuse me. Bringing things rightfully in their advantage. And I was going to say last round, I'm surprised that Maryville Academy hasn't put the timeout yet, and it seems like they're going to do it now. I would like to see it last round when they had a little bit more money, but they are just going to use it now anyway on going to round 11 here. Hopefully this can help them try to bring things up a little bit for them in terms of rounds for this half. Maybe bring things to a 9-3 curse. Maybe that can be beneficial to them. But I think before we went to the timeout, I did see one of Maryville's Academy's players buying an op originally, which might be interesting on the attacker side. I'm not sure if we're actually going to go for that, but that'd be definitely interesting to see. The thing I would like to say about this Maryville Academy roster is that they're playing very slow in situations where I feel like they don't necessarily need to. Especially a couple rounds ago when it was like a 2v3. I feel like if they just went fast towards a garage onto the C site, that maybe could have got something done there. Maybe get the pick, bring this to a 2v2. But they're just there's these situations where I feel like they're just playing a little bit too slow, maybe even playing a little bit scared into this Miami University roster, which, of course you are going to be down a little bit. You're nervous about losing another round, which I understand that. But, I feel like if they just brought the pace a little bit onto the Zachary half, they could see a little bit more success in these couple rounds. And maybe that's what they're discussing now in this timeout. Maybe they'll bring them more success in these next couple rounds here.
Right, and they're kind of playing these corners very often, noticing that Miami University is maybe having a little bit of a tougher time clearing out those corners on this map, but is not getting them as much advantage as I think they'd hope that it would, as I think they were hoping for it to gain, because they push out, they get that first kill on somebody expecting you to be holding those kind of entrances. For example, a Doomty in the garage going to fall. Waylay was supposed to be holding that garage angle, Sova going down, and then sort of not having any follow-up to that because Waylay just having a pistol. Sleepyhead going to be able to push in with our breach, trying to take that, seeing the bomb go down. Sidlord going down 1-for-1, traded. Rysick going to be able to take out the Cypher, finishing out the round 3-0. This is going to be 10-1. Oh my goodness, I heard a little bit.
Yeah, I heard crazy screaming in the other room. Maybe Sleepyhead was excited about that kill. Maybe they're going to look at competition about the top frag, because we did see Doomty was like 12 or 9-0 a couple rounds ago. He's now 14-6. Now Sleepyhead has that top frag spot. Maybe there's a little bit of friendly competition in the other room for that. But Miami 10-1. Last round of this half, Maryville Academy just needs to get anything done that they can. They have full rifles, 3 ultimates online. They just need to use everything that they can to win this next round. Hopefully win the next pistol and start to see things change in a different direction here. But, Miami has so much money and a great position to end up winning this round here as well. So let's just see how this ends up playing out. We do see the Vito ult popped a little bit early on the side of Favorite Liar. This is going to allow him to be immune to any sort of ultimates that Maryville Academy might play out. And they do lose a player early on here, so they're going to be down to a 4v5. And like we've seen before, they're playing a little bit slow. They're not really sure what to do. Mostly going to be going towards the mid. Might decide to go for a garage push, but a Doom team might be just going there with the operator anyway. So I'm not too sure where they're going to end up going here next.
Yeah, Miami University pushing out on that A site, bringing the player advantage to them. Waylay coming out, expecting Favorite Liar to be on that left side of the map. Not going to be there. To be able to get those 2 picks. The attack's down. It's a flawless round. Like, Maryville not going to be able to secure their plan. Miami University punishing them accordingly. It's an unfortunate thing because you see them try to mix up what they're doing, trying to change out the game plan, but Miami University, just their aggressive playstyle forces you to play it there at Miami's tempo. It's a scary thing to go up against.
Yeah, Miami's pretty great at controlling the tempo of the game, and Maryville Academy, like you said, is kind of just letting it happen. And when they're going up to that fast-paced tempo, Maryville Academy isn't really adapting too great to that sort of play style. And I feel like Maryville Academy just might have to just speed things up on this attacker half. Try to beat Miami at their own game. They're going to go for a 5 push onto A against Miami has 3 players nearby. So theoretically, Maryville Academy should be able to get maybe an early pick here, and go from there. But we'll see how this Miami 5-man push goes onto this A site.
Waylay was originally pushing up a little bit on that A short, but going to be falling back, hearing all 5 of them being there. Cypher immediately rotating, being the first one on C site. Favorite Liar pushing up, going to be able to get a few of those picks. And A site's clear now. Miami University going to be able to push the bomb with a 1-player advantage at the moment. Scary position to be in. We're seeing a few of our Sova throwing a little bit of the utility into the main choke point of a main, knowing that if anyone pushes out Heaven, everyone's in a position where they aren't going to get punished for it, and the Omen is holding it as well. And then if either of those players chooses to come out of CT, it's going to be a crossfire. Yep, Sleepyhead going to be able to properly follow up with that gunfight that the Breach and the oh my goodness, Sova, I believe, was having.
Yeah, well, you see Chamber getting a pick there, which might make things a little bit more in their favor, but I don't think they really have any sort of time to get the spike down. He's just going to end up running away, try to go for an exit frag here, but Miami's going to bring this to a 12-1 victory. And, after that last timeout, maybe I thought we'd see some sort of change in strategy from Maryville Academy, but being down to just being able to make no more mistakes to even bring this to overtime makes it pretty hard here. And Miami University is just completely sweeping through these maps, not wasting any time here. It's gonna have us tucked in the bed. They're moving like 2012 Obama and having us tucked in the bed by 10 o'clock. It's 9:30 right now. It seems like they're just trying to get this over with. Miami's being really brutal right now to Maryville Academy, but obviously the game isn't over. We've seen crazy comes back before, especially in VCT. So we could see maybe Maryville Academy comes out with a cheeky round win here, able to snowball that economy. But like we've seen in the past, Miami's aggressions have really been too much for Maryville Academy to handle at some points.
And I do want to bring up how good their coordination has been this map. Even though the scoreboard doesn't reflect, I believe, Maryville is playing a lot more coordinated of a game, which is very exciting to see. Sith Lord going to try and have that judge, kind of a scary position to be in, especially if you're trying to defend the B site, knowing that your opponent has, or not knowing your opponent has a judge yet, but trying to fight against that judge. It's so difficult because all those angles on the B side are going to be close range. Favorite Liar going to be able to get 1 pick, and that's just it. Miami University wins 2-0. I believe this is a best of 3, correct?
Yeah, it was a best of 3. Miami wins 2-0, only dropping 3 rounds that entire series, which is absolutely insane. One of them going to because they didn't check their corners, which of course is a funny thing to look back at. But obviously Miami did end up still winning that round. If we can maybe go back to that main scoreboard, I do want to end up seeing who ended up winning that top frag competition. I feel like it was Sleepyhead, though. It was technically Sleepyhead, even though Adimti did end up getting that combat score increase because of all those first bloods. But either way, great stuff from Miami University. Closing out with a clean 2-0. Moving them forward into round 2 of the NACE Club playoffs. I believe these playoffs are a single elimination, so I believe this is the end of Maryville Academy's run here. Maybe the producer can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But great attempt from Maryville Academy roster there. They did get a couple of rounds on Miami, catching them off guard. But, unfortunately, I think it's Miami's aggressive play style that really allowed them to win over this map here. It seemed like Maryville Academy just wasn't really prepared for a team with that kind of play style. Maybe if Miami was more of a passive, played a little more passively, they might have had a little bit more success there. But, like we've seen in the past, Miami loves to just a W key run it down. That's kind of their whole play style there.
And I am very excited to see Maryville in the future. I know that Maryville having a lot of teams going to be able to kind of review that match, see what they can do better next time, maybe get the run back in the future. But for now, this is going to be a clean 2-0 coming out from Miami University.
Yeah, there will be the NACE Club bringing around again next semester as well, which we will likely see Maryville Academy playing in again. But for us next semester, it'll be Valorant's main ESC bracket, so I don't believe they'll be playing in the NACE Club anymore. So this might be the only time these two rosters play each other this year. But we will see, like we said, next semester, Miami University will be playing in the ESC conference every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. It's a little bit far away, but just keep that on your calendar if you want more Miami Valorant here. But yeah, clean 2-0 for Miami University. Great stuff from them. They're going to move forward into round 2 of playoffs. We will likely be back here next Wednesday showing their next matchup here But for now, I have been Trae Linkling Moss.
And I've been Spencer Palpa McCrae.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with more Miami Valorant next Wednesday, like you said, same time, 8:30. But for now, have a good night, and we'll see you later.